Hi guys, it's Andrew here. I'm going to put an awesome training session for you today. I want to explain something that I believe is really important, and it's a question that I always get asked when I travel the world on an ongoing basis. You know, most of you already know that I have been blessed and I'm very fortunate to probably now have worked with over 100,000 people globally and over the last 5 years, and during that time the question that I get asked is what determines happiness. Now, of course, there are many opinions out there, but what I'd like to do with you here today is share with you my belief. So please write this down. What determines happiness is based on the foundation of you. Gratitude. It's actually being grateful for who you are and what you have. Most people are unhappy with themselves. Happiness, my friends, is an internal job. It's not an external job. It's not a checklist of things. It's not a destination. You have to be happy within you in order to be happy. Now, one of the things you need to focus on is how blessed you are, how lucky you are. Unfortunately, most people will look in the mirror and talk themselves down. Most people will focus on their imperfections and what's wrong with them rather than what's right with them, what their strengths are, what they actually bring to the world. That genius, that gift, that amazing thing that you have about you is completely forgotten. And due to, I guess, external pressures and what society brings in, is people are too busy focused on what they're not good at. And as you know, unfortunately, what we focus on expands. And it makes sense. You see a lot of people that are in a world of pain, in a world of misery. Why? Because they're too busy focused in the problem. They're too busy focused in the pain. They're too busy focused on the imperfection. And they're neglecting the strengths and the upside and the benefit that an individual can bring to the table or bring to the world. Now, the great news is this. And I want to, relieve the stress, that big, heavy bag on, that sits probably on most people's shoulder out there. And that is, guys, nobody is perfect. And if you're not perfect, it's fine. You need to understand, being perfect, it doesn't exist. We as humans have been designed to grow and evolve and learn and experience, to go out there and do things. And so this is part of the learning process. This is part of the evolution of us, of man. We consistently grow and learn. Now, if you're not comfortable with your own skin, then you will be unhappy, right? What I encourage people to do is focus on your strengths, focus on your beauty, focus on what you can do rather than what you cannot do. And don't listen to the Joneses, and don't listen to other people. Don't listen to people that try to tell you how to live your life. There's an amazing saying that I absolutely love, and that is, people with glass homes can't throw stones. And most people out there, I can tell you, have glass homes. So you don't have to listen to them. That's a choice that you make, whether you take on someone's criticism or on the basis of, if people say to you, you're not good enough, or I don't believe in you, or you're hopeless, or you will never amount to anything. And a lot of people out there are looking and seeking approval based on somebody else. They want them to say, well, I believe in you, or I love you. And you don't need that. The biggest thing you need, my friend, is to approve of you. Because you're the most important person here on planet Earth. This is your journey. This is your life. And along the way, by being congruent with who you are, you will be able to impact and lead the people around you. So don't get caught up in the mess out there. Please write this down. Progress is the key to happiness. It's progress. I'll give you an example, right? We have different areas of our life. We have our financial section, we have our career, our personal section, our personal lives when it comes to relationships, our health, our mind, our body. It's very dynamic. Now let me prove it to you that progress is the key to happiness. Think about this, right? Let's say you are here right now, and this is your desired goal. And let's say the goal is to start losing weight and start getting back into shape because your health is deteriorating, or you look in the mirror and you're not feeling good about the way you look, you put a bit of weight on, and all of a sudden you make that boom, that decision that, you know what, enough is enough, I'm not going to tolerate this anymore, and I must do something. So what do you start to do? You start to look at, some diets that you can follow that are going to help you lose weight, a training strategy at the gym, and then all of a sudden, within a few weeks, within a few months, you start to see results. So this is where you are here, 2 weeks down the road, you start to see improvement. And then all of a sudden, you start to feel happy. Why? Because happiness derives from progress. When you're progressing forward and moving forward as an individual, you will start to feel happy. Now, what causes unhappiness? Think about this. Think about this situation when someone is working for somebody, as an example, and they're unhappy, they're miserable. What does it mean? Is there progress in their career? Probably not. Is there progress with their finances? Maybe they've been earning the same amount of money for the last 5 years and they can see the cost of living is increasing. So there's that added pressure of, I'm only earning this and my job's not allowing me to progress financially, or it's not allowing me to progress from a mental state and grow as an individual, right? And so then all of a sudden, their job becomes monotonous and stale, and they start to become unhappy because there's no progress. Think about when someone starts a business. They're excited about the business. They have the concept, they have the idea, and then they start, boom, let's execute, let's make this happen. And during the growth stage, this is where they are, this is where they want to go, and then they start to see their business growing and progressing toward that intended target. Guess what happens? Happiness. They start to become happy because they see their business is actually working, it's moving in a direction that they intended to, and now they're happy. Look at relationships for an example. Why do relationships die and why do relationships grow and people are very, very happy within their own relationship? It's because of progress, it's because of growth. It's about moving forward. Look at fire. I always use this as a great example. I use fire as the metaphor of love. In the beginning, in a relationship, it's awesome, it's growing. Why? Because people are growing together, they're happy, they're progressing towards a specific target. They can see the relationship is progressing forward. But then all of a sudden, people get comfortable, because please write this down, comfort is a disease. Comfort is a disease. Never get comfortable, always be uncomfortable. Always make sure that you're always growing and progressing forward. So what happens in relationships, they get too comfortable, they stop growing, they stop doing the things that they did in the beginning, right? And then just like fire, it's amazing and big and large and hot and roaring in the beginning, and then you stop feeding the fire, and then all of a sudden, the fire dies out and the relationship dies out. That is the key to happiness, my friend. So what I'd like you to do at home is sit down and focus on different areas of your life, because what you'll find is that you are happy in certain areas of your life and you may be unhappy in other areas in your life. And what that means is you need to reevaluate where you are and then start finding a way on how you can start progressing forward in that area where you're unhappy. So that's my tip for you. Now, I want to leave you with something amazing that I heard the other day. I was talking to a very, very close friend of mine. She's amazing. She's a young girl that's doing phenomenally well. And she derives from a very successful family. And I asked her, a question. I said, your father's very successful. He's an entrepreneur. He's created an empire. What's probably the best advice your father has ever given you? And she turned to me and she said something really cool. It was amazing. He said to me that every day is about learning. every day is about growing. So make sure before you go to bed that you've experienced something and that you've actually learnt something. Because if you haven't and you go to bed, then that day has been wasted. Thank you for your time, guys. I look forward to doing more videos. Please email me at info@andrewbarsa.com and give me some of your feedback. Thank you very much. Talk to you soon.